obviously, certainly excited to still be playing. Really enjoy the growth that this group has had, and you know, I know it's a tough time for us to be for the match on Friday, but hopefully we'll be able to have quite a few Badger fans that'll be able to take a day off work and travel down there and help us out. You know, San Diego's out in front of us, and they're certainly playing some great volleyball, is what it seems like just about everybody is right now if you're going to make it to this level. So we're fired up to get going and see how long we can take this journey.
Dennis?
How much do you know about San Diego, and how much have you been able to look at them, and what kind of a team would you describe them as?
Yeah, I mean, we've been watching quite a bit of them. I mean, they're playing really, really well. They've got a couple seniors on there that I think are playing with a lot of confidence and executing at a very high level, and they're running a 6-2. And, you know, they've been a lot of interchangeable parts. You know, the last 3 matches, at least, they've gone with different lineups, people in different positions, and they've got the ability to match up with their opponents due to that. They're very, very balanced. They play hard, great ball control. It's a they look awfully good on film. You know, they're one of those teams that, you know, you see a lot of teams when you first start watching them, you're like, holy moly, how are we going to beat these guys? And they certainly fit that mold. But they're well coached and well schooled, and they're playing great. I mean, they went through Southern Cal like a hot knife through butter, you know, and just played really, really well. And then Cal Poly the night before that, who'd only lost 2 matches all year long. And, you know, I think they were probably one of the, you know, last teams in the tournament, but they're playing as well as probably they have all season long. And so that's a little bit of what I know. Hopefully we'll know a little bit more in the next couple of days.
Dennis?
You did play them a couple of years ago. A lot of changes both sides since then, but is there any residual lessons on having played them at least somewhat recently?
Yeah, we'll talk with their coaches. Hopefully a couple of those points will switch over to this year. We'll be able to start out with 3 or 4 point lead. Hopefully they'll give us that because of that match a couple of years ago. I don't even really remember the match, to tell you the truth. I mean, I remember going into it thinking, oh, man, these guys are really well coached. Remember that. You know, they've got a couple players that I thought were really, really good, but, man, we played, I don't know, 80 matches since then. I've just, you know, it's I remember very, very little. We haven't really gone back and watched any of the film because, like you said, there's so many of those players that on both sides that were kind of a non-factor, and it just doesn't play into this. But other than their name on their schedule and the fact that we played them, I couldn't tell you 2 things about how that match played out.
Brian?
Molly Haggerty seems to be giving you a boost in all areas. Is she playing about as well as she had all year?
There's not even a question. I mean, you know, visually she's playing better. Statistically across the board, she's playing the best that she has, and just kind of how she's moving and the strength and the confidence that she's playing with. You know, it's she's playing great right now. She's got a swagger to her that is. I won't say it's been missing, but it's continued to grow. You know, I think, you know, Sid has felt comfortable getting her the ball a little bit more, but it's her all-around game. She's serving very well, very confidently, moving the ball around the court. Her ball control has been fantastic. You know, she battles back after errors. Defensively, she's playing good. She's been a complete player for us, and which has been huge for us. I mean, that's, you know, I think a lot of our players are really playing pretty well right now, but I don't know if anybody's taken a bigger jump in their game over the past month than what Molly has.
Do her teammates feed off of her energy? I mean, she looks like she's got grit, sometimes nasty, the type of player you want to play with.
She's she's captain of our fight. Fighting spirit is she needs to be out in front. And when she is out in front and, everybody else is right there with her. And, she's, I think she's being more resilient, I would say, through tougher times than probably what she was in the middle of the season. And that's been a huge benefit to us, to her teammates. When she is fired up and she is feeling pretty good, she takes everybody with her. It's that's a great observation, because we were just talking about that yesterday in the office, and just the difference what we've seen of her in probably the past 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Dennis. Oh, sorry, Jay.
Yeah. Kelly, is it helpful to play in a venue that's familiar for the regional and a place where you've beaten the home team already once this year?
Yeah, I mean, you know where the locker rooms are. You know where where you're going. You know the venue. It's that's probably how much of an advantage that is. I don't know. I mean, we'll be there a couple days before we get started. So if we were somewhere else, we'd have a couple days to get familiarized. We know it's a loud place. We know Illinois fans they're really, really passionate. They've got a great student base. It's although we're not playing them, there'll be fans that are just volleyball fans. They'll have a lot of volleyball passionate fans that will stick around after their match and watch our match. They're really, really knowledgeable, and and the venue is fantastic. It's a great place to play because it's tight. The fans are kind of right on top of you. They kind of surround you a little bit. It's not as hot as what it used to be a few years ago, which is certainly nice, but maybe a little bit too much orange in the building. But it's an old place that they've really done a lot of work in there. It's a great place to play. It's a great place to watch.
Dennis.
You've talked about your defense stepping up down the stretch here a little bit. Was there a turning point in there, or was it just a gradual driving points home to them to improve how they're doing, or was there a flip the switch moment somewhere along the way?
Practice is beneficial. It's the second half of the season we had a lot fewer midweek matches, so we could string training sessions together, which I think helped. It's and I think they're just an understanding of what our identity needs to be for us to play at a very high level. I think there's a certain amount of pride that our players have kind of grabbed onto. That here we're gonna have a fighting spirit and keep the ball off the ground and not be casual. The defensive players, and I think at times we were probably a little bit casual with how we pursued balls. I think our range is getting a little bit bigger. It needs to get more so, and fortunately we've got some training days to be able to do that. I think the elite defensive teams, elite defensive players, they're not just digging balls in their body, but they've got incredible amount of range, and our range is getting a little bit bigger, and it's been something we've been working on, and it's something that they're taking pride in, and hopefully we can continue to make a little bit more strides over these next few days.